everybody, Wolf here again. Out here camping at Milan Hill State Park still, up in Milan, New Hampshire. Absolutely beautiful park, and you can see the sun is out today too, which is great. Doesn't happen often enough while I'm camping. Yesterday we had light rain for several hours, but anyway, today I want to talk about gray water. And gray water is like dishwater, water you have left over when you wash your hands and face and things like that. So I want to talk about how I handle that. So, you've probably seen this tank in a lot of my videos here, me pouring water into it and things like that. This is my gray water tank. So they sell this at Walmart. It's really designed for like fresh water and that, but I find it's great for great storage point for dumping in my gray water. So the reason I dump it in here is because it's really not good to just dump it out into the woods and things like that. So I try to collect it all and dump it properly. How I handle it will be dependent on the campground. Some campgrounds have dishwashing stations. So at the end of the day there, I'll just bring this over and dump it into the dishwashing station, and that handles it that fine. If they don't have that, others have dumping stations. In that case, well, we'll just bring it over to the RV dumping station and dump it in there. That usually works pretty well too. In a case like this campground here, where it's a little bit more of a primitive campground, they don't have dumping stations, they don't have dishwashing stations. We're lucky they have water spigots here. So in this case, we have to dump it out into the woods. So again, it's really not a good idea just to be dumping your water right out of your dishpan into the edge of the campsite or something like that. Best to go out 200 feet from the campground itself and dump it out into the woods there. So that's what I use this for. This helps me contain the water, and then when I'm done with it, I can carry it off into the woods someplace. I probably don't want to get it too full because it gets kind of heavy, but that's what I do with it. So, all right, so let's get on with some of the little details about it. Okay, so first a couple of notes on dish soap. Most of the time when I'm out camping, I use just regular like Dawn dish soap for washing the dishes. If I have a dumping station, or if I have a dishwashing station I can dump it into safely where they have proper containment for that stuff. However, where I'm out in the more primitive camping, I'll be dumping it out into the woods. I usually use my camp suds to wash the dishes. It's just a little bit more environmentally friendly. The stuff will break down into the woods. It's not going to harm things like that. So I really recommend, if you're going to be doing the primitive camping, to use a biodegradable soap for washing the dishes, and not regular dish soap. So when I'm putting the water into the tank, I like to try to find a spot that's a little bit sloped. And I'll show you why in just a moment here. I like to slope it back a little bit. This bit depends on what container you're using. If you're using a different type of container, this may not matter. But take this bar off, and notice this is kind of at a little bit of an angle here. I grab the funnel, put it in there. If this was level here and I try to pour water into it, this tends to flip forward. But keeping it a little bit of a slope, it keeps it a little more upright. So this is my dish pan. I'll wash my dishes in here and I collect all the water into it, and then when I've got too much in there, I just pour it into the tank. You can see the funnel starts moving on me because it's really not the best funnel for this job. But it works. I just pour everything on in. And that's it. I've now collected all my gray water. Now I know this is gray water, not black water. Black water would be what's in the toilet. Just keep that in mind here. So toilet water you can't dump into the ground out in the woods. That you bring up to the vault toilets and dump it in there if you've got a portable toilet like I have. Alright, so I found a nice little off the beaten path area out in the woods to dump the stuff out in. Now you want to avoid places like water sources, so streams, brooks, ponds, lakes. Stay away from those areas. Got to find a spot that's at least 200 feet away from the campground, and preferably someplace that's downhill so the stuff will flow away from the area and disperse. So this is the kind of area I like right here. It's got a nice little hill that I can dump it down and everything. Open up the rear vent, so pull air in. Take the cap off. Take that piece off, and that through there, and like that. And you got a strainer here, because there's a lot of food particles and stuff you don't really want to leave in here. So I dump the water through the strainer like that. The strainer catch the food particles. Sometimes it's good to do this like on an old tree stump or something else too, if you can find something. Well, it depends on whatever's available to you. And there, my gray water is now dumped. This will soak into the ground. All the food particles are here, and the strainer, which I will now bring over to and dump into the trash bag, which we'll put into the dumpster later on. And that's it. Simple as that. The hardest part is walking out to that 200 feet away from the campsite. Finding a good safe place to dump it. Put my tank back together. And it's ready to be refilled. Alright, so I'm back at the campsite. I've got my strainer full of junk from the gray water tank. Yeah, sorry about the lighting here, it's pretty bad. Okay, I just take this, dump it into the trash bag, and when I'm done with the trash bag, it goes into the dumpster. So that's all there is to it. Pretty simple. Now, of course, it's easier if you had more of a commercial campground that has dumping stations or dishwashing stations, things like that. You don't really have to strain it or anything in those cases because the waste disposal system handles a lot of that stuff. But when you're out here, you gotta make sure all those particles are cleaned up and everything. So anyway, hope you found that helpful, and if you got any suggestions how I could improve my method of dealing with gray water, I'd love to hear it. Let me know if I'm not doing something right. And but I'm trying to leave no trace while I'm out camping, and that's part of how I do it. So thanks for watching, and if you like these kinds of videos here and more helpful hints for while you're out doing these little, if you're going to be starting some solo adventures like myself or even family camping trips, just hit that subscribe button down below. Otherwise, remember to slow down and enjoy life. Talk to you guys later. All right. Come on.